Welcome to the Marketing Stir podcast by Stirista, where we chat with industry leaders and get their take on the challenges facing the market. And maybe we'll have a little fun along the way. On this special episode of the Marketing Stir, Vincent welcomes Ashley Ruggeri and Deanna Dolecki from the Blue Duck Agency to the show. Join us to learn about going virtual before it was cool, the Ducks Unplugged podcast, and Blue Duck's niche targeting strategies.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another episode of the Marketing Stir. I am your happy host, Vincent Petrofessa, the Vice President of B2B Products and Partnerships. I'm in a great mood because of our guests. Yes, plural. But let's talk about Stirista just for like 11 seconds, right? We're a marketing technology company. We own our own business-to-business data and business-to-consumer data. We help companies access that data through our technology to help them get new customers. Who doesn't want new customers, right? Email me, vincent@stirista.com. Thank you so much, because people are listening. They are emailing me. Is it always for what I intend? No, it is not. But you're listening, and we appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very special episode. As I said in the beginning, guests with an S, plural. This is the second time in the Marketing Stir history that we've had two guests on. And why? Because they're both amazing. Why? Because they also host a podcast that is amazing, Ducks Unplugged. A warm Marketing Stir welcome for these two amazing people. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of Blue Duck Agency, Deanna Dolecki, the account director there, Ashley Ruggeri. What's going on, ladies? How are you?
I have to tell you, I like the candy striper shirt, and I assumed the blue was for Blue Duck. So you're on brand.
It was blue for Blue Duck, and I have actually on blue pants as well. I look like I'm in a barbershop quartet, and we have a few of us, so we can actually, we're just missing one, right? We can start singing. But
I don't think you want that. No,
that is definitely not what you want for this podcast.
I know I like to sing. I think I could sing, but I'm not a big fan of karaoke. My co-host AJ loves karaoke. He's a big Johnny Cash fan. Stirista in general in San Antonio, they love karaoke. Me, not so much. I said it on the podcast. I'm not a big fan of karaoke. It creeps me out sometimes.
No, I love karaoke.
They're up there. They're having their moment. Ashley loves karaoke, so that hits deep, I think.
Super guilty.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'll be going to the San Antonio office. I'm going to go down there and going to join their karaoke.
Yeah. Well, Ashley, answer this, right? Here's why I don't. And Indiana, you hit the nail on the head, because for me, karaoke, it's fun. A group of drunk dudes singing Backstreet Boys. I love it. Girls singing. Girls just want to have fun, or whomever. But it's what you said, Deanna. It's that person who is just going for it. This was like, she was in a school play in 8th grade, and she was in Greece, and she played Sandra Dee, and now she hasn't sang in years. And that's what it's about. So that is what creeps me out.
I confirm that is not my version of karaoke. I think the worse the karaoke is, the better it is for the audience. And I deliver that every single time.
I have seen her perform, and I can confirm.
I knew it, and I love it. So I want to get into it. Ashley, talk to me about Blue Duck Agency, what you're doing there, about the company. I love the name, so we can get into that. But yeah, I would love to. And then after you talk about that, talk to me about your role there. And then Deanna, I'd love to go to you after, but and talk about your role and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, we are Blue Duck Agency. We will get into the name a little bit later. I know we're going to talk about that. It's a very fun story. We are a full service marketing agency, and everyone says that, right? But we are an agency that has been around for over 20 years, and we really specialize in coming in to be the right fit for your company. We have a niche in membership and subscription marketing, so that's really where we've gotten our foothold over the years, and just driving really strong acquisition programs, retention, loyalty, getting our customers a customer that is sticky and is going to last for a long time. And we do that across the spectrum, everything from data, like we work with you guys at Stirista, to creative, modeling, reporting, optimization, all channels, multi-channel, cross-channel. The really special part about Blue Duck Agency, and something that we really hold near and dear, is a compliment that we get all the time, is we act as an extension of our clients' teams. And that is the absolute best thing to hear, because marketing agencies, a lot of them do the same things. And it's really finding that partner that can, of course, do the work, but that you trust and you build the relationship with and you want to work with. And it just brings us a lot of pride to be able to do that with our clients and make them successful year over year. So that's a little bit about Blue Duck, but my role specifically at Blue Duck is managing on the new business team. So everything from growth strategy for our company to onboarding new clients, client retention, bringing the right programs to new clients. I like to say I'm a woman of many hats at this agency.
Mm-hmm.
You name it, I have probably done it. Everyone kind of does a little bit of everything. We're not afraid to test and try and see what works and see what doesn't. And we hold that true for us so that we can do the same thing for our clients. So the new business world that I live is a big area of gray, and I would not have it any other way.
I love it, and your passion shines through, and I love that too because I wear so many hats here, and I know Deanna, talking to you, you do the same. So talk to us about your role at the organization.
So I'm the president of the agency. I've been here for, I think I'm coming up on 11 years. So it's been a while. We're a women-owned, women-led organization, which I'm really proud of. As Ashley said, we're pretty nimble. We have a unique structure for our agency. That's a little bit of our secret sauce, and that allows us to pivot with our clients and be able to move a little bit more fluidly as plans and marketing plans change throughout the year. So I am involved in, I don't know, I feel like everything, right? So usually the problems raise up to me. So I get the hard stuff. I'm in charge of, I work really closely with Ashley on the new business side. I am heavily involved in client strategy. I'm very involved in setting the culture and making sure that the team we have in place is the right team. I say right people, right jobs all the time, and making sure that I'm maximizing just the entire agency from top to bottom. So I love it. I've been doing this for a while. This agency is a pretty special place, and I'm proud. I'm proud of the team.
That's amazing. And thank you also for the shout out to Stirista. We really appreciate the partnership that we have. And Deanna, talk to me because I've been in the industry a long time and I remember your organization as direct associates. And now Blue Duck, I love. So tell me about the origin story, about the name change and the challenges, because a lot of people knew the great work you were doing there. But tell me about that process.
Yeah, absolutely. And talk about a pivot, right? Direct associates to Blue Duck agency. And Ashley, jump in as I'm talking. So the company started many moons ago as direct associates. That was back in the day where we're talking pre-digital, pre-email, right? And the majority of what we did was direct mail. And we would call everything we did direct marketing, which is essentially just measured marketing, right? Results-based marketing. But the majority of the work was direct mail, which was appropriate at the time. And that's what worked, right? And so that name reflected sort of the core of the business at the time. Fast forward many years, and the channels and the platforms and everything has really expanded and moved into a much more digital first area. We still do mail, we still love mail, but the majority of what we do is focused in the digital space. And so it was really funny. We were at a client meeting, keep me honest, Ashley, like a couple of years ago. How long?
2 years
Like a couple of years
ago.
ago.
Yeah, 2 years
Thank
ago.
you. And so we're sitting in this and we were onboarding a new CMO that was new to the client. And so we come in with our dog and pony. This is who we are, what we do. And she said something that just stopped us all in our tracks. And she's like, oh, wait a second. You do digital and email? We're like, yeah. And she's like, well, I just assumed with direct associates that you did direct mail. And Ashley and I were both like, oh, dear. Okay. So I can see how you make that correlation. And so we came back and we said, I think it's time for a name change. And we need to better reflect who we are now, where we've come, what we offer. We need to sound more digital, if you will, and have a name that reflects that. So that's where it started. And that's where we decided to just make the big switch. How we got to Blue Duck, Ashley had said she was famous for this line, but she's like, I want to be in an elevator and I want somebody to be like, where do you work? And she says, Blue Duck Agency. And I want them to be like, huh? What? Right? She's like, I welcome that moment to be able to explain. So Blue Duck, the origin of that was I fancy myself a creative person. At times I drive my creative team insane. And so we do something special. Always. Thank you though. That was sweet. And so we do something special called No Meeting Wednesdays. So Wednesdays is every single week. Every Wednesday is a day where the team really needs to take time out to think, right? Play, go for a walk and brainstorm, whatever you need to do to take time to get away from the to-do list and really be thinking about sort of the growth of the business, where you're going, whatever that means for your area. I do the same thing. And so there was one day where I'm like, you know what, sort of building off of that moment in that meeting of direct associates, I started just playing around creating billboards. And what we were going to position ourselves out there. And I found this image, which was just rows and rows of yellow rubber ducks with one blue duck just sticking out. And it really affected me. And I'm like, that's what it's like trying to sell an agency, trying to pitch an agency. We're in a sea of yellow rubber ducks. Everybody's saying the same thing, selling the same thing, but we're different. And I know we're different. We have a number of things that make us really special and unique, but you don't see that until you can get on the phone with us and have a call with us, and you can see the dynamic, the people, the thinking. Agencies are about the people, our ideas and strategies, right? You got to execute them, but you got to start at the top. And so that visual became sort of the framework, and you can see it on our website. Actually, it's the homepage of our website, for calling ourselves Blue Duck. And then we took it to the next level, because ducks are really calm on the surface, right? They're keeping their cool. They don't look like they're working that hard, but underneath the water, they're like paddling for their little lives, right? With their little, and that is a really good analogy for what we do for our clients. We make it look easy. We make your life easy. You know, we're calm, cool, collected most of the time. But we are working our butts off underneath that water to deliver for our clients. And so it all just kind of came together.
You know, when you're telling that story, this just hit me. I remember watching Billy Madison with Adam Sandler. And if you remember the scene, he goes back to school. He's drawing a blue duck. And if you remember that scene, he's like, I've never seen a blue duck. And I just thought it'd be cool to see a blue duck. And then the teacher goes to this 27-year-old, is good job, you get a star. And it's just that it just hit me this second. Ashley, I want to get it because you and I are similar in the case that we essentially both, in addition to our day to day, what we're doing for our company, we co-host a podcast with our president or our CEO. Tell me about what that's like. Tell me about the concept of the podcast and how it came about.
Yeah, so the concept of the podcast really started from what Deanna was just saying is there are so many marketing agencies out there, and it's really hard to understand who's going to be the right fit. But when you get on the phone with somebody or on a Zoom or in front of them, that's when the magic happens, when the relationship starts to build, when you get a sense for who you're actually going to be working with. So in lieu of being able to get in front of every single person that we could potentially work with, we're like, how do we maybe do this in a different way? Let's start a podcast and really be able to show who we are, our dynamic, because the two of us are representative of the rest of our team too. Just like really wonderful to work with people. The dynamic of our company and the culture is amazing. And just how do we show that? So we started Ducks Unplugged. We didn't really know what we were doing. We still don't know what we're doing. We're learning as we go. It's been very fun. And being able to work with the president of the company when you kind of stack seems like it could be a really scary thing. But Deanna and I, over the years, have built up such a good relationship, and we have such a good dynamic professionally and personally that it just works. As a leader on Deanna's new business team, it's my job to be able to be honest with her and say the hard things and say the good things and give the feedback. So I've just, over the years, we've built this relationship where then being on a podcast and duck debating each other or talking about a live brainstorm on a marketing topic just makes sense and it works. So ultimately, I mean, we've gotten really good feedback so far from the podcast, which has been super rewarding and just something that I didn't think would come so soon, because in the podcast world, it takes a while to scale up, to figure out what you're doing, but it's super fun.
I also, and I don't know if AJ does this too with you, Vincent, but I try, and actually, I've never asked you this actually. I don't know if you notice it. I try when we're in podcast mode, especially on those days and when we're planning, to not be President Deanna. I try to be co-host Deanna, right? If we're co-hosts, we're co-hosts, right? We're doing it together, and it's a shared vision, a shared responsibility. And I know obviously I'm still running the agency and we need to be mindful of that. Some of the stuff, we're putting some content out right now that I never in a million years thought I would do, and Ashley's making me do it. And it's because it's the right thing to do. Yeah. It's my version of karaoke. And so we try to make sure that we balance that more in that environment.
Yeah. Deanna, like what you were saying there is, for me, A lot. So I know me and AJ, I've known for 13, 14 years. I've been here working for 7. We were like the young people at the DMA conferences. We were friends. And when I came up with this idea back in 2019, he was all for it. He kind of lets, and I think with a great leader, all great leaders do is they play into the strengths of their employees and let them just go. I want to get back to the rebrand, right? Because when you're talking to companies, I went through something like this at a similar level, what you were talking about. I'm the vice president of the Marketing Club of New York. Now, it was originally the Direct Marketing Club of New York, DMCNY. Next year, they're celebrating 100 years. But about 4 years ago, a lot of people, to what you were talking about there as well, is they were like, is that just people selling envelopes? Like, what envelopes? You just go to a store. They were just direct mail, direct mail. And ever since, it was tough because, again, at that point, it was a 90-year organization, 94-year. We said, no, it's the marketing club because it's so many different things. Now, and what we did was we tripled the amount of members we had. We just had a board meeting yesterday because people were just open and it's like, oh, it's marketing it. It's New York City. Again, we're not pitching clients on it, but what were some of the challenges, right? Like you talked about a little bit, but also I want to dig deeper into what makes you different, right? And what are some of the clients that you love working with that, without revealing the secret sauce, but what makes you different?
So you mentioned, was it hard to relaunch? Yes and no. We can talk about, we had some pain points, the website development. I thought Ashley was going to kill me. So that was a bump in the road. It looks fantastic now. We did a great job, but I underestimated the amount of work that was going to go into redoing our website. And we went for it. We changed everything, right? But it was a great opportunity to repitch ourselves to the market and start with leading with that sort of special sauce that makes us different. And a big part of that is why Blue Duck? We get that all the time. What does that mean? It immediately allows us to explain the dynamic that I explained to you. And some of what makes us really different and special is we only hire seasoned people. And so I've come from big agencies, small agencies. I'm a roll your sleeve up kind of person. Everybody at the company is that same work style, and they have years and years of experience in their specific areas. And so you're never going to get passed down, right? That happens sometimes in agencies, right? You can only have so many senior people working on so many things at once. And so once a new account comes in, for example, you tend to get handed down to a more junior staff, and then you have somebody senior who pops in from time to make sure that it's staying on track. That doesn't happen here. I'm actually involved in almost every client that we have in some capacity, from strategy review, creative review, but everybody on the team is empowered to do their job because they have years of experience. And so that just by default makes it a pretty special place and a different model than a lot of other companies have. Like I said, our structure, we're 100% virtual, which I used to hate saying because people would be like, oh, so are you a real company? We were 100% virtual before it was cool. We didn't miss a beat with COVID because of it. So that allows us to hire based on experience and fit and not be limited by geography, if you will. And so that's also been a nice differentiator. And it, again, allows us to structure the agency in a way that we can really adjust throughout the year as our clients' plans and needs need to change and adjust. And that allows us to have pretty strong retention with our clients because we can help them deliver on their goals in a way that some may not.
Being here is like a special little family. And I feel like once you start working with us, we bring that vibe into our clients too, which is why we're lucky enough to get that compliments about being extensions of the team.
Ashley, I want to stay on that. Talk to me about some campaigns that stand out to you without revealing your favorite children, sort of thing. What campaigns that you love working on where you're like, this is the Blue Duck way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm going to expand it a little bit to channel because we do a couple of campaigns in this particular channel that I love, which is acquisition email. And we do some of this work with you guys at Stirista too. But for me, this is a channel that not a lot of people have dipped their toe into yet, or they've maybe tried it, but not in the right ways. And it's being able to get to inboxes that are not in your current email CRM. And it's just a channel that I feel like is such a good embodiment of everything that we do at Blue Duck Agency because it's so data involved, creative involved. It requires a lot of innovation to be able to stay ahead of the inbox. And then I am a data geek. Everyone knows this at the company. Like I won't go down the rabbit hole, but I could. So being able to like really be heavy on the data and the reporting, there's always an optimization opportunity for acquisition email. So we've done these kind of campaigns for a lot of our clients with a lot of success. And it's just very exciting to be able to do because it's a super cost efficient channel too. So we can help get something that we know works and we know how to do really well into a client's mix and then help them free up money in other places to be able to do the 100 million other things that also have to be done as part of their company and their brand.
It's a huge compliment to digital too, which is people don't understand, like they think it's either or, but no, they work incredibly well together.
You're right. I think a lot of people now, I'm always shocked on how many people are not doing something like email. And or they think that's digital. I'm like, no, it's not. You can do other things. I'm seeing a nice emergence in acquisition email in worlds like financial, healthcare, nonprofit, a lot of nonprofit. We all remember just the labels and the mail pieces, but a lot of those people you could email. They have email addresses. They're responsive. So I love hearing that. Also, talk to me about some of the things that you do for your own marketing. This is the marketing stir, right? Are you going to? I'm surprised we've never met because I hear so many great things about you. Maybe we have, who knows?
You'd remember us.
I would remember you. I was going to say maybe we crossed paths or at the same show.
You would have seen Ashley karaoke. Yeah.
And then maybe that's why I haven't met her because what I heard, I was like, wait a minute, no. Talk to me about how are you going to trade shows? Are you on LinkedIn with the harpoon, just going after certain clients? Like, talk to me about your own marketing efforts.
Yeah, so that's been a major focus for us a bit over the last year with that rebranding. So first comes the rebrand, and that was a pretty big undertaking and endeavor. And now we're in, I would say, the second year, and that is really where sort of the marketing of BDA is taking front and center. We're not a company that wants 500 clients, right? Like we're very specific about who we go after because we want the fit, much like hiring for the right people. We want our clients to be the right fit too, so that we can really deliver as much as possible. And Ashley said, focusing in on acquisition, loyalty type programs. We have a motto here that's retention begins at acquisition. So we say that to all of our clients. It's true for us too, right? So we want to be able to retain long-term our partners, and getting in for the right reason to start is important. One of the big things that we actually did two big things, I would say. We're doing all like the normal stuff, Vincent. We're on LinkedIn, we're sending emails out, we're doing all the things, writing the content and the blog posts. But two big things that we did this year. One was the podcast. We thought that would be a labor of love. It's going to take some time to build, but how do you show culture? And we're always like, how do we show we're smart before we like get on the phone with somebody, right? So the podcast is a way to hopefully show some of our thinking and how we approach business and how we think about brands, how we work together in a softer way than having to get on the phone with somebody. The second piece of it was we actually did our own commercial for the first time this past year. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but it was fantastic. We've done video and commercials for other clients in the past, but we needed to do one for ourselves when I wanted to do it on a shoestring budget, right? And so we were able to come up with a 60-second spot that was pretty incredible for a very low cost. And that is frankly turning itself into us building out a video service arm that we're going to be selling in 2026. We're trying to come up with a cute name for it right now, actually. So we're trying to just promote ourselves and market ourselves and follow the advice we give our clients, right?
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I love it. And I want to stay on the podcast because again, I love podcasting. And it's a great way. The reason when I first met you two, I was like, no, we have to do this together because the dynamic is there. I love it. Ashley, what are some of the craziest topics or most surprising things you talked about on the podcast?
Oh gosh, I mean, people are gonna have to go listen to some of that. I think Deanna probably realized how crazy I am one of our first filming days when we did our first what we call duck debate. So we'll come with a couple of hot take debate topics and we'll go head to head. And one of my hard and fast rules is that you should not make the bed right when you wake up. The sheets need to breathe and you just need to give it a little time, make it a little bit later. And you would have thought that I don't even know what I said to Deanna. She was horrified. Everybody now debates whether or not you should make your bed in the morning.
It's actually, so that was just the beginning, Vincent. I discovered Ashley is insane. And so she has all these like little nuanced things that are part of her everyday.
Special,
Um,
special, unique.
Wonderfully insane. You're my insane. I love you. Are you kidding? But it's just she has some of these quirks that are just amazing and really fun to discover in this podcast setting.
Yeah, I'm like AJ discovers that about me. Here's a debate for you. I was having a debate when you're washing your hands. Let's talk about this, right? Is it wetting the hands, soap, turn it on? I
I
have this.
wet and soap because it makes it sudsier, right? What do you do?
I turn on the water. I go soap first, and then I go
Oh, so
wet.
you're a dry soaper.
I'm a dry soaper. Yeah.
Deanna hate me for this because I am a both kind of girl. I like to pick both ends. I do both at the same time. I'm getting the soap while I'm turning on the water and starting to put my hand under the water. So it's
Yeah.
one hand that's wet and then one soap, and then it's best of both worlds.
I'm thinking that too. Yeah. Sometimes it's like, but then some of the soap runs off. You might not get 100% soap.
You can
Yeah.
do a second squirt of the soap.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
And
yeah.
to your bed sheet debate, my wife makes sure that bed is made with the quickness. I like making the bed too, but I let it breathe. She's like,
You
oh,
let it breathe?
I let it breathe because I'm like, I have other things to do. I have
But
to,
it's not
but
because of the bacteria
no,
and
no, has
that's why
no,
Ashley's doing it.
no, no.
Yeah.
That I have no. That's a little crazy.
You're gonna
But
have to think about it
and
and wonder.
our listeners will think about it as well. I love it. Why does Peter Stein get to have all the fun and hang out with you too, ladies? I know. Shout out to Peter Stein. I know he's
No, he's
listening.
great. He's
I know
great.
he's listening.
And he's listened to our podcast too. He's so sweet. He'll send me like notes and stuff on things we talk about. It's very nice.
One time he had recommended a friend on, and she was so great. And they went to high school together. And I made a joke. I was like, wait, you look much younger than Peter. I was like, what was he, your teacher? Is that what he
Oh
meant by
my
high school? Oh, it's funny. It's funny. Let's switch it over now to a little bit of, we talked about LinkedIn. I mentioned the harpoon on the LinkedIn. I want to get both your takes on this. This is a question we ask all of our guests, and now we get to ask two of our guests. LinkedIn, right? Ashley, let's start with you. What is a message that resonates with you? And what's one that you just hate?
Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with LinkedIn. I mean, clearly the business social media platform, but I feel like it gets a little too Facebooky for me sometimes, a little too
Mm,
personal, a little too much. So the things that resonate most with me on LinkedIn, if there is somebody who takes a minute to make some kind of personal connection. So they know a little bit about me, they have a connection to me, they've read something about me or my company and they can offer that when they're reaching out. The obviously canned batch kind of outreach messages, I just don't think that they do for anybody. So, just do a little bit of research and that's what's going to get me.
what about you, Deanna?
Yeah, I was going to say something similar. I get a lot of emails. And so even a LinkedIn connection request, I would say for the role that I have and my experience, my number of connections would be considered probably low, but it's because I'm very selective. If you just send me one of those, I forget what it says, but I just want to connect with you. If there's no, this is why I want to connect with you, or here's a note, or I'll just immediately decline it. I won't even accept it. So it's similar for me. If you send me an email in my inbox and it's like multiple paragraphs, I'm not going to read it. And so short, sweet, and like Ashley said, relevant, right? Even in some way, even if it's, oh, I saw you have an Australian Shepherd and I have an Australian Shepherd. It's just something to show that you did a little bit of research, and that goes a long way. I'll pay a little bit more attention. And the subject line is huge. There are pretty traditional prospecty subject lines that everybody uses. Don't do that.
Yeah. And I also think, I agree with both of you because I'm the same way. Like the way I'm in partnerships, I'm in business development. And so the way that a lot of it's relationships, right? Me
100%.
being a board member for many years and very active on the marketing club in New York, I am lucky because it's New York, just like Boston. Like there's a lot of people, there's a lot of companies. So those are how I form my relationships. I've never been like, I'm gonna message 93 people. What do you know? If there's a company that I think we can
Yeah.
work with, it's like, hey, this is commonalities. This is what we can do. If it's a fit, great. If not, that is okay too.
Right.
And I pride myself too, I think, on those connections,
Yeah.
almost to the point where if Ashley ever said, "Hey, I see you're connected to this person. Can you make an intro?" Yeah, I probably could because I know that person. And then also having the
Right.
podcast and having so many great podcast
Yeah.
guests on helped out as well. Talk to me about the next quarter, the next year. What are some of the things you're looking forward to? What are some of the cool campaigns you're working on? Talk to me about some of that.
I just mentioned the sort of commercial video arm. So that's definitely something that we're pretty focused on right now, given I think big agencies can produce some pretty quality work, but it's very expensive. And then there's a number of, let's call it mid-tier from a revenue standpoint, right? Companies that would love a chance to be able to do a commercial or a professional video of some sort, and they don't think they can afford it. And we're going to be here to tell them that they can, and we can do it for them. So that's definitely a big focus area for us. One other sort of parts of the special, what makes us special and a unique agency is we do a lot of targeting, right? A lot of targeting. And we have a lot of experience in what we like to call niche audiences. I grew up in the mover marketing world before I came here. We have a whole niche for boomers. People think that they're getting boomers everywhere. They're not. They're not getting like the prime slice of boomers, right? And there's a sweet spot for it. We had a campaign with an e-bike company that was focused on really active boomers, and it was incredibly successful. Or women's health is a huge topic right now. So having the ability to target, and we have really done an incredible job of building out partnerships and models that allow us to target in. And that goes back to the retention begins at acquisition, because you don't want to just get quantity, you want to get quality and quantity. And so continuing to look for channels and sort of product packages and things like is a focus and will continue to be a focus for us. And digital's always changing. Digital keeps everybody on their toes, right? I can't even look in the crystal ball and tell you what's going to be in market in 12 months, but we'll be there with it, whatever it is, right?
I love what you're doing there, especially with the video, right? Allowing companies to, without huge Coca-Cola budgets, right, to do a video because connected TV is huge now. It's so
Yep.
many people are watching. I was just yesterday, the Marketing Club in New York had a CTV panel on the importance of CTV and you're going to be able to help clients do that and promote themselves, but also get it in front of people. CTV is
Yeah.
great. It's unskippable for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Love that.
And there's other models out there too. I mean, a lot of companies want guaranteed placement, but there are other ways to kind of skin that cat. That's a terrible saying, but skin the
Hmm.
cat, right? I call it remnant. It's not the right term, but think of it as you kind of your filler
Yeah.
advertising, right? And so you're guaranteed a certain number of impressions. You can absolutely still target the
Hmm.
areas and the people that you want, but it can be served up in a more economical fashion. So you can build the video and commercial on a realistic budget, and then you can get it in
Hmm.
market as well on a realistic budget, which I think is
Yeah.
really exciting.
I love it. Yeah, it's a big part of what people are doing. It's a big part of Stirista. We do a lot of it as well. Ashley, that same question about what you're looking forward to next year. What are you excited about? And then I want to get to know you ladies personally. That's what we do on the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're in it right now. It's full on planning season and plans have been submitted, feedback is coming back, and we are doing iteration after iteration and whatever the
Yeah.
client needs. So that's, we're in that sweet spot and we'll get to maybe in January we can breathe. But I'm really excited for next year because like Deanna was saying, marketing changes so fast. I just think to when I was back in college and about placing display ads and that being a big thing, or Google Analytics starting up. And now
Hmm.
here we are, and the landscape is so different. So, really focusing in on data is going to be something that we continue to do as an agency because if you have data at the core and you know who you need to target, you can get to them. It doesn't matter what channel you have to use or what the tactic ends up being, you have a strong, solid foundation to be able to layer everything on top to make it work. So I think as I'm just looking at marketing in general, like just thinking about generational marketing isn't enough. It's really thinking about the niches, going a level deeper, understanding who these people are, and then being able to get the right message in front of them. And that'll happen as email, video, different kinds of content creation. And it'll look different at the end of next year than it does right now. It keeps us on our toes. That's why we're marketing.
But that makes it fun, right? Yeah.
I love it. Data, you're speaking my language. This is great. Ashley, let's stay with you. Tell me about yourself. Like, again, the podcast is, what if I met you two at the cocktail hour at a conference? What are we talking about? Were you always a Boston area, Northeasterner?
So I'm down.
I think neither of you. I don't hear.
I am. She's a Jersey girl.
I'm a Jersey girl. Yeah, I'm a Jersey girl.
That's what I thought.
I'm from Clinton, New Jersey, a little dot on the map, about an hour from New York and an hour from Philly. So best of both worlds. But I came up here for college. I stayed, and my whole family hasn't since moved to the area. So I will be up in Massachusetts forever and ever. Right now, I have a 7-year-old. So I'm very firmly in my mom era of life. I'm a hockey mom, and I am at the rink more days of the week than I would like to be, but that's okay. And if you listen to the podcast, you will very often hear me talk about Formula One. I'm a huge Formula One racing fan. It's probably the most shocking thing that people learn about me. I don't really scream that if you look at me, but it's totally my thing. And Deanna, I'm going to make her watch a race one day. We're trying to coordinate so I can explain all the things and all research to her.
That's awesome.
Can't wait.
My wife actually knows nothing about F1 yet. She's been to a race. She's going again in 2 weeks to Singapore.
No way.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, for her company. So they kind of do like.
I'm going to have to talk to her afterwards. I need to know everything.
She does like, her company does an event around it. She has a team out there. Amazing. That's a great. I have an 8-year-old. No hockey. I heard that's ridiculously early. So I'm like,
sure is.
Dude, thank goodness. So it's just soccer, and that's
that was my life.
Yeah, exactly. I coach my 5-year-old now. We already had one game, you can call it a game. They did pretty good. There's no goalie. They're just scoring. But there was a little girl on the team, and she did not want to play, even though she knew me, because at this age you choose your coach.
Right.
Her name is Jaya. And I said, Jaya, like, just, me, get out there and have fun. She didn't want to do it. She's looking for her mom. She went out there, scored like 2 goals. I'm like, we need you. I was like, what do you? I was like,
good for her.
I was like, we need you. So I love doing that. That's what I do. But as we end the podcast here, tell people where they could find Blue Duck Agency, where they can find the podcast. Let's get that out there.
Absolutely. So Blue Duck Agency, you can find, and you should look at our website to see that header image that started it all. That's at blueduckagency.com. And in the spirit of throwing emails out there, if anybody has a question or is interested, my email is ashley@blueduckagency.com. And I look forward to seeing if I get anything other than, that prompt. I'm sure I will. Vincent, I'll let you know. And then for the podcast, we're Ducks Unplugged, and you can find us anywhere that you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes. We have a YouTube channel, and all of our social media handles are at Ducks Unplugged. And we do some wild stuff on there sometimes.
Yeah, she really does. There's been stuff recently.
I do the same thing with AJ, because if you listen to our other podcasts, like, this is me all the time. It's like we're doing this almost 2:00 where I'm like, this is me. I'm like this. It's exhausting to some people, but AJ's kind of like the opposite. He's like very methodical. He's quieter than I am, but yeah, I pull him out and get him into some things. But
I think video, I don't like seeing myself on video, but at this point, I'm whatever. Just tell me, send me what you want me to do, and I'll do it. You're fine.
Comfort zone. As a president, you're embracing it. Yeah. I'm so happy I got to meet you two. I hope I meet you in person. I love the partnership that we have at Stirista. I'm jealous that I'm not more involved in it, but Peter's a great guy. I'm happy that we're working together, and he's awesome here. So this has been awesome. That's Ashley Ruggeri. That's Deanna Dolecki. I am Vincent Petrofessa. They're Blue Duck Agency, Stirista. AJ, he's somewhere. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Stir podcast by Stirista. Please like and subscribe. If you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, please email us at themarketingstir@stirista.com.